In this class, we are going to discuss about one of the most important questions which is repeatedly coming from the first unit. That is, write a note on bioisosterism. Bioisosterism. This question also comes as explain term bioisosterism with suitable examples. Otherwise, it is also asked as in exams as write a short notes on bioisosterism and classification of bioisosteres. So, for these three questions, the answer is same. For these three questions, the answer is similar. Okay, the same. So if the question is for 5 marks, otherwise if the question is short answer, otherwise it's long answer, you have to write some important points as an answer. So whenever you're writing answer to this question, this 4 point must be there. 4 point must be there. So first point is write the definition of bioisosterism. For this question, the answer, the first point you have to write is write definition of the bioisosterism. For short answer question, it carries 1 marks. For long answer question, it carries 2 marks. Then write the importance of bioisosterism in medicinal chemistry. So if it is for 5 marks, don't write the importance. If it is a long answer, write the importance of this bioisosterism in medicinal chemistry. If it is for 5 marks, don't write the second point, directly go to the third point. So coming to the third point, write the classification with examples. Classification, this bioisosteres are classified into 2 classes, classical bioisosteres and non-classical bioisosteres. So just write the classification with each class with some examples. This classification is classified into 2 classes, classical and non-classical. We will discuss later. Okay. So coming to the case study, some of the drug molecules are discussed here with emphasized application of this knowledge for the drug structures. Okay, so I will explain 2 to 4 drug structures with importance of this bioisosterism. If the question is for 5 marks, write only one case study of drug modification. If it is for 8 marks, write any 2 case studies. I will give the name to every case study. Okay, so let me start the writing answer. First, we have to write about definition. Coming to the definition. So what is meant by bioisosterism? So it's an very important. So we first read the definition. Coming to the definition, what is the definition means? The bioisosterism is nothing but it's a replacement or modification of functional groups with other groups having similar properties is called as isosteric and biosteric replacement is called as isosteric and biosteric replacement. So this is the definition. Coming to the definition, it's a simple replacement or modification of functional groups with other groups having similar properties is called as isosteric and biosteric replacement. This is about the definition. Okay. So according to the Berger, he defined bioisostere as according to the Berger, bioisostere are substituents or groups that have similar chemical, physical properties, and which produce same biological effect. So bioisosters are the substituents or groups that have similar chemical properties, similar physical properties, and which produce same biological effects are called as bioisosters. Already you studied about isomerism. You already know the definition of isomers. Isomers is nothing but one or two molecules or one or two compounds have same molecular formula, but they have different chemical properties. But these bioisosters have different chemical structures, different chemical structures, but have same biological activity, same physical properties, and same chemical properties. These are structurally different, but they show same physical effects and chemical effects and biological effects. Okay, this is again to the Burger definition. Okay, so coming to this is about first point. You have to write the definition. Then you have to write importance of this bioisosterism. So this bioisosterism is a well-known strategy used in medicinal chemistry for design of new drugs. The main application of bioisosters. Coming to the applications, these are bioisosterism is a strategy for design of new drugs. It's a design of new drugs. It's one of the great strategy for design of new drugs. Okay, coming to the second importance, by using this bioisoster concept, we can improve the potency of the drug. We can improve potency of the drug. So by this concept, we can enhance the selectivity of the drugs. We can enhance selectivity. Okay, so this technique is used to alter physiochemical properties. Coming to the application of this bioisosterism or bioisosters, the bioisosterism is the best strategy for design of new drugs. With this bioisosterism, we can improve the potency of the drugs. Otherwise, we can enhance the selectivity of the drugs, and also we can alter the physiochemical properties of the drug molecule. So we can reduce or redirect the metabolism. So most of the drugs are undergoes metabolism. So if the drugs are undergone metabolism, the amount of drug availability and other bioavailability of the drug in our body decreases due to metabolism. So we can reduce metabolism of drugs. We can reduce the metabolic rate of drugs. So we can eliminate or modify toxicophores in the drug molecule. We can eliminate or we can modify toxicophores. Nothing but drug molecules, some of the molecule will cause toxicity. So in order to remove that toxic causing moiety, we can use this bioisosterism concept. So in order to eliminate or modify toxicophores, we will use this bioisosteres concept. This is about application of bioisosteres. So whenever this question is coming to the exam, first write the definition, then write the application. If it is for long answer, if it is for short answer, don't write this application. Okay, this is about introduction to this this question. So next we will go for classification with example. We will go for classification of bioisosteres. Third point you have to read is classification. Classification. So coming to the classification, this bioisosteres. This bioisosteres are classified into majorly into two categories. They are classical bioisosteres, non-classical bioisosteres. These bioisosteres are classified into majorly into two classes. The first class is classical bioisosteres and second class is non-classical bioisosteres. So what is the difference between these classical and non-classical means? These classical bioisosteres have similar shape and similar electronic configuration of atoms. These bioisosteres have classical bioisosteres have, they are similar in shape. They are also similar in electronic configuration of atoms. Configuration of atoms. So these classical bioisosteres are similar in shape. They are similar in shape and they are also similar in electronic configurations. They obey steric and electronic definition. These classical bioisosteres obeys steric and classical definition of bioisosteres. So this classical bioisosteres obeys steric and classical definition of bioisosteres. Coming to the non-classical bioisosteres, they do not obey steric and classical definition. They do not obey steric and classical definition. Okay, these are majorly functional groups with dissimilar valency electron configuration. These are non-classical bioisosteres are generally functional groups. Non-classical bioisosteres are functional groups with dissimilar electronic configuration. So when you see the difference, they are not similar in shape as well as their electronic configuration is not similar. Coming to the classical bioisosteres, they have similar electronic configuration, but these non-classical bioisosteres are generally of functional groups. They are majorly related to the functional groups and their electronic configuration will be not same or dissimilar. And these classical bioisosteres obeys steric and classical definition, but non-classical bioisosteres doesn't obey steric and classical definition. So they are similar in shape, they are dissimilar in shape. Okay, this is the major difference between classical bioisosteres and non-classical bioisosteres. Coming to these classical bioisosteres are further classified as monovalent atoms, monovalent atoms are groups. Monovalent atoms are groups, and also these are called classified as divalent atoms are groups, and these are also classified as trivalent atoms are groups. And fourth type of this classical biosystems are the tetrasubstituted atoms. Tetrasubstituted atoms, and the last of this class is ring equivalents. So coming to the classification of these classical biosystems are majorly classified into five categories. They are monovalent atoms are groups, divalent atoms are groups, and trivalent atoms are groups, and tetrasubstituted atoms are groups, and last is ring equivalent. These classical biosystems are again classified into monovalent atoms are groups, divalent atoms are groups, trivalent atoms are groups, tetrasubstituted atoms are groups, and fifth is ring equivalents. And coming to these examples are for monovalent atoms or groups. The examples are D and hydrogen, deuteron and hydrogen. So we can replace hydrogen with deuteron. The drug doesn't get any adverse effects. Okay, so we can replace F and hydrogen, fluorine and hydrogen. So monovalent atoms, the classical biosystems examples are deuteron and hydrogen, fluorine and hydrogen, and NH2 and OH, and other examples are we can replace fluorine, OH, NH2, comma CH3. All these are monovalent atoms which comes under classical bioisosteres. And few more examples: chlorine, bromine, thiol, and OH. So deuteron and hydrogen are classical biosystems example for the monovalent atoms or groups, and fluorine and hydrogen are examples of monovalent atoms. Amine and OH are group of atoms which have same electronic configuration. So deuteron and hydrogen have same electronic configuration, fluorine and hydrogen have same electronic configuration, this NH2 and OH also have same electronic configuration. Coming to these four groups, fluorine, hydroxy, amine, and CH3 also have same electronic configuration. When you see this, they have one electron in their outermost shell free. So okay, chlorine, bromine, thiol, and OH also have same electronic configuration. These four groups are classical biosysteres. These four groups are classical biosysteres with respect to each other. So instead of fluorine, we can substitute OH. The drug doesn't get any adverse effects. Instead of amine group, we can substitute OH. The drug doesn't get any side effects. Instead of CH3, we can introduce fluorine. It doesn't get any side effects. Like this, we will use this important concept. Okay, so examples for the divalent atoms are carbon double bond, comma carbon nitrogen double bond, carbon oxygen double bond, carbon sulfur double bond. Okay, this is first set of classical biosysteres comes under divalent atoms. So this carbon double bond, carbon nitrogen double bond, carbon oxygen double bond, carbon sulfur double bond, their electronic configurations are similar. So these four groups shows same physical properties and chemical properties. Carbon double bond, carbon double bond nitrogen, carbon double bond oxygen, carbon double bond sulfur shows similar effects. Okay, other set of these dival atom atoms are CH2 comma NH comma oxygen comma sulfur. These are the second set of examples of divalent atoms or groups. So coming to the tetravalent, we have very few examples. C H double bond comma N double bond. N double bond. Coming to the tetra substituted, we have R4 alkyl 4 carbon, okay, R4 silicon, R4 nitrogen. So this R may be alkyl group like CH3 or C2H5. This is alkyl carbon, alkyl silicon, alkyl nitrogen are classical bioacid which comes under tetra substituted atoms. And coming to the ring equivalents, we have the examples are these two are physically, chemically and biologically similar. These two are same. If you replace this group with this group in any drug molecule, the drug doesn't get any side effects. It doesn't show any negative effects. Okay. So these two moieties, this phenyl moiety and this pyridine moiety are similar to each other with respect to their electronic configuration. So they will shows similar chemical properties, physical property as well as biological property, as because this two structure, this phenyl group and as well pyridine group, both have same electronic configuration. Other examples are cyclohexene comma, I forgotten this, I think so, pyrrole. This ring name is pyrrole. Okay, this is thiol, pyrrothiol. Okay, pyrazole, I think so. Okay, these three ring structures are classical bioisosteres. So these three ring structures have same electronic configuration. So these are called as ring equivalents, which comes under classical bioisosteres. Coming to the non-classical bioisosteres, the examples are coming to the non-classical bioisosteres, the examples are halogens like chlorine, fluorine, bromine, comma, nitrile group. Okay, second is ethers. The next function is, the first function is halogens, chlorine, fluorine, bromine. For this, the non-classical bioisosteres is the nitrile group. So for ethers, the examples are sulfur, oxygen. Okay, so other are carbonyl groups. Okay, carboxylic acids, aldehyde, ketones. Okay, another is other examples for this non-classical bioisosteres are the OH, NH, SO2R, CH2, OH and catechol. So these are the examples for non-classical isosteres. The example for the non-classical isosteres, coming to the halogen functions, so chlorine, fluorine, bromine, isonitrile are non-classical bioisosteres. This is the first group. Coming to the second group, the second group is the ethers. The ethers, sulfur and oxygen So this oxygen is ether oxygen, this sulfur is ether sulfur. These two are non-classical bioisosteres. So all carbonyl groups are non-classical bioisosteres. This hydroxyl group NHSO2R, CH2OH and catechol are non-classical bioisosteres. These are the third set of non-classical bioisosteres. In the exam, coming to the exam, don't write all these examples. For each class, write any 2 examples. For these monovalent atoms, better to write these 2 groups. And for divalent atoms, write this first group of atoms. And trivalent, write these 2 examples. Tetravalent, write any 2. And ring equivalents, write any 2 groups. This group or this group. Write any 1 group. This group or this group. For non-classical, write ethers and this 4th group of classical bioisosteres. This is about classification. Coming to the case studies. Now we will go for case studies. Otherwise, application of this bioisosteres. Case studies. Okay. Case study 1. This 5-fluoro-2-deoxyuridylic acid also a thymidine synthase, but when we compare this drug molecule with this parent drug molecule, this 5-fluoro derivative is more active because this electronegative fluorine atom withdraws electrons from the ring. As a result, the covalent bond formed between this drug molecule and this enzyme is increased. Due to simple replacement of this hydrogen atom with the fluorine atom. The covalent bond formed between this thymidine synthase enzyme and the drug molecule is increased due to this electronegative nature of this fluorine atom. As the covalent bond formed between drug and enzyme is increased, binding increases. Enzyme binding nature increases. As the enzyme binding nature increases, so its drug activity or drug potency, drug activity increases. So this is the best example for replacement of hydrogen with fluorine. So isosteric replacement of hydrogen with fluorine atom, alternative fluorine atom. As this hydrogen is replaced with the fluorine atom, the drug nature doesn't changes, but the activity is increased. As because due to electronegative nature of the fluorine atom. So this fluorine and hydrogen are isosteric to each other, isosteric pairs. So next drug we have to discuss is, next case study is case study 2. We already know a DDT. The structure of the DDT is hydrogen here. There is one phenyl ring, another phenyl ring. There is carbon. This carbon has 3 chlorines. This is dichloro, diphenyl, tetravalent. So it is, next case study is, this is the DDT. It is called as DDT. We already know that is a well-known pesticide. DDT is a well-known pesticide which are used. When this DDT are used as pesticide, these pesticides are also enter into the foods. When we take that food, these DDTs are highly accumulates in our body. They are, when DDT are used in agriculture, whatever the foods for this DDT are used, we will take. If we take, the DDT will definitely accumulates in your body due to these three chlorine atoms are this chlorine atom, three chlorine atoms in this DDT will impart high lipophilicity. These three chlorine atoms, chlorine atom 1, 2, 3, imparts high lipophilicity. As the lipophilicity is very high, this drug is DDT is lipid soluble. It is highly lipid soluble drug, as this chlorine atom gives high lipophilic character to this DDT molecule. So as it's a lipid soluble chemical, it rapidly distributes in adipose tissue. DDT, this DDT, as it is a lipid soluble, it's rapidly distributes in the adipose tissue, means fat tissue, adipose tissue. This is a toxic in nature, but DDT is very toxic in nature, so it causes harm to the body, as it is not metabolized. Since it's lipid soluble, it is rapidly distributed in the adipose tissue. As it is rapidly distributed in adipose tissue, it is not metabolic. It is not undergoes metabolism. As it is rapidly distributed in adipose tissue, DDT not undergoes metabolism. As this rapid distribution and no metabolism results, accumulation of DDT for long period of time. So due to presence of these three chlorine atoms in DDT structure, these three chlorine atoms gives high lipophilic character. As this DDT is highly lipophilic, it is lipid soluble. This lipid solubility will provides good distribution of this drug in the adipose tissue. As it is highly distributed in the adipose tissue, it doesn't undergoes metabolism. So due to its rapid distribution and no metabolism, this accumulation of this drug occurs for a long period of time, and as it's a very toxic, it gives very adverse effects. So in order to avoid this accumulation of the DDT for longer period of time, if you replace these chlorine atoms isosterically with the methyl group, the obtained drug molecule is easily undergoes metabolism. It doesn't accumulates in our body. If you replace these three chlorine atoms, replace these three chlorine atoms with methyl group isosterically. Replace with methyl group with by isosteric replacement of this chlorine atom with this methyl group and this chlorine with this methyl group and this methyl group, we will obtain a new drug derivative of DDT, that is CH3. This drug molecule is this three CH3 groups, instead of chlorine groups will imparts. So the CH3 groups diminishes or decreases accumulation of drug in adipose tissue. This methyl derivative of DDT. So whenever you replace isosterically this chlorine atom with this chlorine bioisoster methyl group, the obtained drug molecule is less toxic, as a as G2, it diminishes the accumulation of the drug in the adipose tissue. Otherwise, it decreases the accumulation of the drug in the adipose tissue. Also, this presence of these methyl groups makes drug susceptible to metabolism. As a result, it cannot accumulate for longer period of time. So the chlorine derivative of the DDT is highly toxic as because it accumulates in the body for longer period of time. Its methyl derivative, it is obtained by isosteric replacement of this chlorine with the methyl group. The obtained derivative is non-toxic as this methyl groups instead of chlorine atoms diminishes the accumulation of the drug in adipose tissue. Also makes the drug susceptible to the metabolism. This is the second case study, such that isosteric replacement of chlorine with CH3. This is second case study. The first case study is the replacement of hydrogen with chlorine atom. Coming to the next case study. Case study 3. So case study 3, it is divalent replacement. We will discuss about divalent replacement. Divalent replacement. So the drug molecule is a toleristat. The structure is here. There is a CF3. There is an ether group CH3. Okay. There is a C double bond O. So here there is a sulfur here actually. So C double bond. So and there is a nitrogen atom. It has CH3 and CH2 CO2H. This is the structure of the tolerostat. This name of the drug molecule is tolerostat. So if you replace this carbon sulfur bond isosterically with replace S double bond C with C double bond O isosterically, the obtained drug molecule has this structure. So replace this carbon double bond sulfur with the carbon double bond oxygen. The carbon double bond sulfur and carbon double bond oxygen are isosteres to each other. We will get a drug molecule CF3 H3CO. So instead of carbon sulfur double bond, we replaced carbon oxygen double bond. The remaining structure is as it is or as usual. Okay, CH3 CH2 CO2H. It is called as orthoxo. So oxo toleristat. Tolleristat. This Tolleristat and oxotolleristats are used for treatment of diabetic neuropathy. Both this tollerostat and its oxotollerostat derivative are used for treatment of diabetic neuropathy. So both these drugs are used for diabetic treatment of diabetic neuropathy. These two drugs are enzyme inhibitors. That is, these two drugs they show anti-diabetic neuropathic. Otherwise, it is used in treatment of diabetic neuropathy. These tollerostat and oxotollerostats, they inhibit the aldo reductase. These two drugs are aldo reductase inhibitor. These two drugs are used in treatment of diabetic neuropathy. These are aldo reductase inhibitors. When you compare the potency of these two drugs, tollerostat with the oxotollerostat, the potency of oxotollerostat is very high than tollerostat. So it indicates that by replacement of this carbon sulfur double bond with carbon oxygen double bond isosterically, the obtained oxotollerostat is more potent than its parent tollerostat drug. So like this, in order to increase the lipophilicity, or in order to increase the potency, or in order to diminish the toxic effect of the drug molecule, this biosteric replacement is very helpful technique. It's a very helpful strategy to improve the desired properties of the drug molecule. So when you see these three case studies, so by isosteric replacement, the drug activity is increased. So this bioisosteric replacement method is otherwise it's a good strategy for improvement of desired drug properties. That's why it's a widely used technique in drug design, or otherwise new drug development. So this is about case studies. If it's in the exam, there are one if you want, I will give another example. D as an isoster of hydrogen. D deuteron as another case study 4. D as an isoster of hydrogen. Case study 4. Okay, so case study 4. Coming to case study, we will take telipravir as a drug. So it's a long drug structure. So as this teli, I am not giving the structure of the drug. Telapravir, in which an hydrogen atom is replaced with the D atom, and hydrogen atom it's a very big structure. So already I think so you can understand what is meant to replacement by isosteric replacement. So if you replace this hydrogen atom of the telipravir with a D atom, the obtained drug molecule is highly potent. The obtained D derivative of this telipravir, D derivative of telapravir is a more potent drug. So as the structure is very big, I am not interested to draw the structure. So like that, this bioisosterism is very helpful technique in order to improve the desired property of a drug molecule. Desired property of the drug molecules. This bioisosterism is classified into two categories already discussed. So this is about today question. So in the next we will discuss about the next question about stereoisomerism and geometrical isomerism as an important tool for medicinal chemistry. So in the next question we will discuss about stereoisomerism and geometrical isomerism importance in medicinal chemistry as a physiochemical property. Okay.